What's up, guys? I just want to make a quick video on different things to do with functions, because I know functions can get a little tricky, but well, once you get the basics of it, it's just it becomes second nature. Get rid of that. I'm going to just start up kind of like I did my string video. What is Python doing, right? So it's taking things and doing stuff with things. So one thing we can have is a number 56 or something, and you can just float around and do nothing, right? But that's kind of boring. We want to do stuff with our 56. So we could run functions on it. So one function you can run is called the print function. And what this does is it just prints it out to your console, as you probably know. What is this really doing? Well, it's actually this really complex code behind the scenes. It's doing all this stuff to go into your system and tell it to, oh, we have to display this variable and get the well, think of it this way: if you had to design this console window and have it print out the 56, like that would take forever, right? Actually, I don't think the print statement defines the console, but anyway, yeah, you want to be able to just say print and it works, right? So that's the magic of functions. Is it's just whenever we say print, we're just basically doing all this complex code on this, and it's just so much easier. It makes it easier to read, easier to do. So, some other functions we can do. We can say print int 56. This isn't going to look any different because it's just going to take 56 and make it a number, which it already is, and there we go. We can also say print the type of 56. There's a type, but how many different things can we do? Well, if you go on Google and you look at Python built-in functions, and then you want to choose a Python 3 version, you can actually see all these different functions that are in here. But still, that's really not all that much, you think that in people that make Facebook and stuff, they have more functions than this, right? Well, that's the magic of this is you can really make your own functions. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to make a function. I'm going to call it def. Well, when you define a function, you say def, and then the name of the function is hi, and then where you have your arguments, I'm going to have no arguments, so it's just going to be empty. And I'm put a colon, and then everything in this function has to be whoa, what just happened? Has to be inside indented, right? So if I just put stuff here, that's not going to be the function. So let's just say print hi. So what this function is doing, well, first of all, this hasn't done anything. We can run this, and it's just going to do nothing. All we did was define a function. And sometimes you'll have files like that, just defining a whole bunch of functions. Then from a different one, you're going to have like importing actually, I don't think this is correct syntax, so don't copy this exactly. But you're going to import your functions and do different things from a different file. So that's pretty common. So where's my pause button? So this doesn't really do anything. It's just defining a function and then ending, and I have no errors. If I had some weird code, we'd actually get an error out of this. But there's no errors. I'm just defining a function. But if you actually want to run it, we just have to say hi, and there we go. So there we go. So that's cool. But see, hi is calling this function print, and it's okay to call functions from other functions. In fact, if you call hi from within itself, it's gonna run forever, which kind of funny. That's called recursion. You'll probably get into that in 2110 if you ever take that class. But what's different about this function and this function, other than this one's in purple because it's special, right? See. The print function has something going into it, and we have nothing going into ours. Say we want to print out, say we have a variable here. It's like x equals hi, and we want to print out x inside this function. But how do we get it into the function? Well, what we can do is we can make a parameter here. I'm going to call mine pizza. Okay, and so whenever we use hi, we have to put in pizza, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put it into both of these. Actually, I'm going to get rid of this one. I want to have it go forever. Oh wait, nope, that doesn't work. And why is this wrong, right? Well, this is going to fail because we don't have a variable called pizza, right? I have x. So my bad. So what is going on? It's one of those things that can get a little tricky is when you're defining your parameters and when you're putting in your arguments. And that's one of those little buzzwords. This is called a parameter, which is when your definition, an argument is going to be when you're actually putting the data into your function. So this will work, but well, it looks like it works. Really, it's just printing out the string still hi. So what do we put here? Well, we're not going to put x because that's not going to work. So we're going to put pizza. because whenever we run high, we're dealing with pizza, right? So we're going to print pizza. And in this case, pizza is x, which is high. So there we go. It's going to print out high. Sometimes you can put more parameters in. So you can put in y is hello, both, I guess. Okay. I'm going to make more parameters. I'm going to name it A, B, and C, say. And then, so when I run high, I'm going to put x, comma, y, comma, and then let's just put 60. I don't know. There we go. And then pizza's not going to work anymore, right? Because that's not a parameter. So you can say print A plus B plus C. I know there's going to be spaces in between, but whatever. Now something's wrong. Oh yes, when you print out an integer, it cannot be that. It has to be a string, so I can cast this to a string. There we go. And whoops, wrong thing. There we go. Hi and hello and 60. All three were passed into this function. So we got multiple ones there. But sometimes you don't want all these different parameters. Say you only want I'd say you want. Hold up. Say hi is something like when people run print, it's usually only one argument that they're passing in. So let's say that when people normally run hi, they just pass in x and y, and it's normally logically only two things are going to go into here. So so you can define what happens when they just put in 2, which is this will always be 0, and this is called a default parameter. And how you make this is, see, if I just have it normally like this, it's going to give me an error, right? Because it's going to say, oh, you're missing one of the arguments. But if you want it to not be required, you want it to be an optional argument, you can just say equals, whatever you want. I can say equals, hey. There we go. And so now when it's going to, whenever someone runs this, it'll either print out the first, the second, and whatever the third argument is, or if they only pass in 2, it's going to be first, second, and hey. Okay, so I only put 2 in here. See, I said x and y, so it's going to print out the hey, right? So I'll say I want to instead put in there we go. So let's go hi, because C is not going to be hey this time, because it's going to be whatever you put it in. And it's usually standard to put them all the way over to the right. In fact, it's not only standard, it will give you an error if you put it as the second one. Because it'll say, oh, you have a non-default argument that's following a default argument. So you don't want to do that. But there's one thing that you can do. Oh no, just what I was saying there was you want to not have like a one that's positional and then a default and then this one. So you actually want to order them. You want to order them like this, right? Okay. Let's say they're all optional. Let's say that A equals 0 and B equals 9 and then C equals hey. So we're gonna run that. Oh, see, it's actually still gonna be the ones that I put in. So I can actually just put in no arguments now because none are required, right? So then it's gonna be, hold on. Yes, you know what? Those are, you got to cast them as strings, right? So I'm just gonna put some random stuff in here. So it should do ASD and then hey, right? So ASD hey, cool. So one thing you can do that's a little different, say you want to put in 1 and 2 and 3. So it should print out 1, 2, 3, right? There we go. But say we want to, I don't know why you would ever do this, but say you want to switch around the order. Well, you can switch them around if you want to do that. Say I want to do 3, 2, 1, even though I put in 1, 2, 3. This only works when they're, I'll get to that in a minute. But so we can do C equals 1, and then this. I do not want sticky keys. Stop. Yes. So let's say this one's B, and this one's A. So that's going to go. Okay, we're calling high, and it's saying C is 1, so we're going to put the 1 there, and B is 2, so I'm going to put 2 there, and 3 right there. So it's going to be should be 3, 2, 1, right? So there we go. 3, 2, 1. I was curious if this would work on non-defaults, and it looks like it does. So there you go, nifty knowledge. So one thing that's sort of tricky is, say I ran a high down here just by putting high and then parentheses. But what if I print out that thing? Is it going to be different? See if you can pause the video and see if you can figure it out. So there we go. It says 3, 2, 1, and then none. well, what just happened? Well, it's gonna call hi. Well, it's gonna evaluate to what's the inside first, right? So it's going to call this hi first. Okay, so we have 1, 2, and 3. So we're gonna 3, 2, 1 like before. And then we're going to print out the result of this. Well, what is the result? Nothing, right? We just printed something. There's no result, right? So there we go, just none. That's what it tells you. So if you get none randomly when you're coding, it's probably because you're printing out some function that doesn't return anything. So in order to return something, I can say return, and then I am the result. There we go. And so I'm going to say 3 to 1, and I am the result, right? So the way this can get confusing is if you say like, say I'm making a function called sum, and I'm going to return a plus b plus c, and so I'm just gonna get rid of this. What some people do is they will just do sum. Oh wait, this is can't do this because this is a keyword. One of the Python's already ones, because see it's like that light blue. So I'm just gonna call this sum, yay, and then okay, there we go. So should we go 1, 2, 3? Actually, it have to be commas, right? So 1 plus 2 plus 3. Oh, that's so hard. 6, I think. Okay. So nothing happened. What happened? Well, see, sum yay is going to return the sum, but all you did here is you just basically said 6, and same thing, nothing. But what did we do before to print out the 6? Well, we did print 6, right? So in order to print what sum yay's result is, we have to print the whole function call. There we go. All right, and the last little confusing thing I would say would be local versus global. So let's say, well, give me a sec. All right, so a very common test-looking question is something like this. And what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video and figure out what this is going to output. Okay, so. All right, so basically the way to do this, I think, is to pretend that you are the computer, and I want you to go through each line and figure out what's going on, okay? Start at line 1. Sorry, so x equals 5. So you could write down on your piece of paper, okay, x equals 5. And then here, we define this function hi. We're not doing anything with it yet, right? We just put this box on the table, and we might use it later. We don't know. So just define hi. Make a mental note that when you run hi, make x equals 0, and you're going to print x. And then so now we're going to print x. All right. So what is x? Well, x is was it this one or is it this one? Well, this is something called local versus global. And well, first of all, you can think we haven't done anything with this function yet. So you could just basically skip over, oh, well, x is 5, so we haven't run it yet, right? So the first one I would say would be definitely 5. Okay? So then we're going to run hi. Okay, so now we have x equals 0, and we're going to print x. So what is this going to print out? Well, x was just 0, right? So we cannot know that this one's going to be 0. So the resulting output should be something like 5 and then 0 and then okay, so there we go. Well, ooh, what happens here? So well, is it going to print this 5, or wait, what we set it to 0? Maybe we'll print 0. Is it going to print 0 or 5? Well, where'd my little music go? Which do you think? Well, what it's going to do is, well, let's just give it a run. 505. Okay, so why is it 5? Well, this is a local version of x. Okay, so that is a different version of x than this. You might as well have named it pizza x, and then also change this to pizza. But yes, because it's a different thing. And basically the reason for this is when you're using functions, say you had a file where you defined all of your functions and you're copying and pasting them into different files, sometimes you're not going to know if they've already had a variable x in their file. So you want to just, the designers of Python said, all right, you know what? We're just going to make this at a different scope level than this 5, right? So that way you don't have to worry if, say, we just, came into this file and pasted this, that if they had an x, it wouldn't mess things up because this is our own x, right? So, yeah, so it's going to do 505. Let's say we wanted to change it to 5, 5, 5. Also, I'm gonna just put this 5 right there. Yeah. So got almost. Yeah, so say we wanted to make this actually change this 0. So we would have 5 and then 0 and then 0 as our output. So if we run this now, it's just going to still be 5, 0 and then 5 because we didn't actually change this. And remember that this is the global, this is the global, and this is the local, right? So how can we actually change it? Well, we can tell it in the function global x. And this declaration is saying, hey, when I refer to x, I actually mean my x. I don't mean make your own x. I want it to be the one that's in this file outside of this function, right? So this way, it's so let's go through the problem again. Okay, so still use x equals 5. That's cool. We're finding a function. That's cool. We might use it later. We don't know. And then we're going to print out 5. So it's going to still be 5, right? Because it's just the global 5. Then we're going to run high. Okay, so global x. So this x and this x are going to be the exact same thing now. Okay, so x equals 0. So now x is basically the same thing. X is now 0, really 0. So now we're going to print this. Okay, so x is 0. And then we're going to print x. Well, it was changed by this function, so now it's 0. So it should be 5 and then 0 and 0. There we go. All right, I now have a challenge question for you, and I'm only going to give you 5 seconds to do it because I claim that it is that simple. Okay, so get ready. Don't pause the video. Cheat. Actually, I'll give you 10 seconds. Ready, set, go. Time's up. 10 seconds. All right. So, what is the answer to this? Well, this one is very simple, actually. It looks scary, but okay. Well, let's do what we did before, and we're going to run it like we are the computer. Okay. So, all right. So we have x equals 5. X. So we have this x, and it's 5. Then we define this function. We're doing stuff with what we passed in. We're making y equals 0, and making a local x equals 0, and making y equal to x, and then x equal to y, and then a bunch of weird stuff. Okay, so we're going to run high. So we're looking for what it's going to print out, right? And I don't see any prints in this whole thing. Yeah, so it's just going to be nothing, right? So it's going to float around in space. Okay, so just move on to the next line. So we're printing out the result of high. What is the result of high? Well, we don't have any return statement here, so it's going to be none, right? And we don't have any print statements inside of high either, so it's not going to get anything there either. So this is going to be none. And then what is this going to print out? Well, did we change x within of high? Well, we passed it in as an argument, and then we did stuff with that argument. But does that change x? Well, actually, it does not. So it's going to be 5. So none, 5. There you go. Good luck with functions, and I'll see you later.